Have you ever felt an unexplainable heaviness at night, as if the atmosphere in your home suddenly shifted? Have you ever sensed restlessness, anxiety, or even unease in certain corners of your house without knowing why? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with us again. Today's topic is one that might surprise you. We're going to explore something that touches the spiritual safety of your home, your energy, and even your karmic well-being. Something that many people ignore, but those who walk a path of inner cultivation cannot afford to dismiss. This is about the objects in your home. Yes, physical items that can dramatically affect your spiritual progress and energy flow, especially if they've been exposed to the energy of death, sorrow, or unresolved karma. We're not talking about superstitions. We're talking about subtle energy realities that have been confirmed through centuries of spiritual observation and lived experience. Few are serious about your inner practice, meditation, chanting, prayer, or energy work. You must understand this: your environment matters. What you allow into your home, what energy you live around, and what objects you keep close to you can directly impact the frequency of your consciousness. Let's begin with a key truth: with everything carries vibration. Every object, every material thing in your space has an energetic signature, and this signature can either uplift you, anchor you, or harm you, especially if you're cultivating spiritual sensitivity. And some items are not just energetically heavy, they were karmically charged. I'm talking about objects like urns, ashes, clothing of the deceased, antiques tied to suffering, old photographs carrying unresolved sorrow, and items that have been exposed to strong emotions like grief, fear, or violence. You might be thinking, but these belong to my grandmother. These remind me of someone I love. Shouldn't I keep them out of respect? That's a fair question, and one we'll answer with nuance. But first, let's understand what's really happening. When a person dies, their physical body may leave, but their energetic imprint often lingers, and unless proper spiritual practices are carried out, like prayers, rituals, or intentional release, these imprints can remain attached to physical objects. This is especially true of ashes, heirlooms, clothing, and bedding that belonged to the deceased. Keeping such objects in your living space, especially your bedroom, meditation area, or altar room, can create a powerful energetic dissonance. Why? Because spiritual cultivation, when done sincerely, generates light, it increases your energetic frequency, it activates your field, and that light, that frequency, can attract wandering spirits, unresolved energies, and karmic echoes. You see, in ancient traditions, from Buddhist temples to Taoist monasteries, and even early Christian and Sufi communities, it was well understood that objects retain memory, they hold energy. They can serve as links between the physical and spiritual worlds. That's why proper purification rituals were always performed before bringing anything into sacred space. So, what happens when we keep these items knowingly or unknowingly in our home without cleansing them, without honoring them, without releasing them? We create what spiritual healers call energy leakage points. You may experience it as fatigue, restlessness, mood swings, insomnia, or irritability, even mysterious financial setbacks or family disharmony. It's not that the object itself is cursed. It's that it serves as a conduit for unresolved energy to continue circulating in your space, round your aura, and even into your subtle body. And if you are someone who meditates regularly, chants mantras, or does any form of inner alchemy, your light makes you a beacon. Spirits, lost energies, and resolved karmic ties, they gravitate toward light, especially if they were once connected to you. Let's be clear, this is not about being afraid. This is about being aware. Awareness gives you power. It allows you to make wise choices and protect your energetic field, your family, and your practice. There is a concept in the Buddhist lexicon called uninvited karmic resonance. This is the tendency of unresolved energies to find their way to those who are spiritually active but energetically unguarded. Think of it like leaving your doors open while cooking a feast. Of course, uninvited guests may show up. So what's the solution? What do you do if you already have such items in your home, or if you've inherited them and feel conflicted about discarding them? The answer is not to throw them away in fear. The answer is to transform the energy. There are 4 sacred steps to doing this purification: offering, dedication, and release. Purification. Before doing anything else, create a sacred space, light a candle, incense, or simply sit in silence. Hold the object with reverence and intention. Visualize white or golden light surrounding it, from mantra, prayer, or chant of your tradition. Not out of fear, but out of love and blessing. If the object belonged to someone who has passed, place a simple offering nearby: clean water, flowers, fruit, or incense. Speak a tie on your journey. Send you peace. Offer this light for your freedom. This connects the object to your intention and breaks the unconscious emotional tether. Dedication. Read a passage from a sacred text. Dedicate a round of chanting or prayer in their name. Say, "May this merit assist all who are in need of liberation. May this energy be transmuted into light and love." Release. Now decide, is this object truly needed? Yes, move it to a neutral place, like a storage area outside your main living quarters. If not, consider passing it to a temple, a sacred place, or returning it to the elements. Burial, burning, water. Release with care and prayer. You don't have to do this perfectly. You just have to do it sincerely. Because spiritual safety is not about ritual precision. It's about clarity of intention and steadiness of heart. And for those who think this only applies to special objects, think again. Even modern items like second-hand furniture, thrifted clothes, or souvenirs from emotionally intense places, prisons, hospitals, battlefields, can carry energy that's inconsistent with your spiritual goals. Does this mean you must live in fear? Oh. Means you must live in discernment. Discernment is the key here. Not paranoia, not blind rejection, but wise awareness. Let's deepen this conversation with a real-life story, a cautionary yet illuminating tale. There was a man who lived a disciplined spiritual life. He meditated every morning, recited Buddhist sutras in the evening, and tried his best to walk the path with compassion and clarity. For time, though, he began to notice something strange. Despite his deepening practice, his home felt increasingly heavy. He couldn't sleep well. He often woke up in the middle of the night, feeling watched. His altar candles would flicker oddly and sometimes even extinguish without explanation. He thought it was just stress or imagination. But one day, during a group retreat, a fellow practitioner asked him, "What's that black ceramic jar on your altar?" "It's an urn," he replied. "It holds my grandfather's ashes." The teacher leading the retreat was silent for a moment, then gently said, "Oh, that object is not compatible with your altar. You are creating light. That object holds unresolved karmic memory, must be wired differently, in a space designed for remembrance, cultivation." The men returned home, performed a cleansing ritual, and respectfully moved Thurn to a quiet room where he could offer prayers regularly. Almost immediately, the energy in his home shifted, a heaviness lifted, his sleep returned, his altar space became serene again. This story is not about right or wrong, it's about appropriateness. What belongs to the world of remembrance and mourning should remain there. What belongs to the world of spiritual cultivation must be protected from conflicting energies. Let's go even deeper. Think about the symbolic meaning of your home. Your home is not just where you live. It is an extension of your energy body. Every room represents a part of your inner world. Your bedroom corresponds to your emotional center. Your kitchen relates to your nourishment and self-care. Your meditation space reflects your far mind, your spiritual clarity. Now imagine placing an object charged with sorrow, death, or trauma into that inner sanctum. What do you think happens energetically? You disrupt the frequency. You allow karmic turbulence into your field. You dilute the potency of your spiritual practice. It's like trying to meditate with headphones playing chaotic noise. You can still sit, but your silence will be interrupted, or clarity clouded. This is why many ancient teachings emphasized cleanliness. It is not just physical, but energetic. Even the smallest atoms can carry emotional echoes. Necklace worn during heartbreak, scarf soaked with grief, photograph taken during a time of deep loss. These objects may seem harmless, but if your intuition winces every time you see them, it's a signal their energy is not aligned with your current path. So what do? You listen. You honor your journey. You give yourself permission to release what no longer supports your awakening. And in that act of release, you reclaim your space, your power, your presence. Let's reflect on the deeper spiritual truth here. Everything you allow into your life, people, objects, thoughts, either nourishes your soul or drains it. There is no neutral. This doesn't mean you must live in a sterile, empty space. It means you live with purpose. It's sacred intention. You curate your environment the same way a gardener tends a sacred garden. You prune, you nourish, you remove weeds, not because they're evil, but because they interfere with the flowering of what you wish to grow. And what are you growing? Peace, light, compassion, wisdom, courage, liberation. And these things flourish in an environment tangled with unprocessed karmic residue, only with great difficulty. This is why the ancient sages emphasized simplicity. They understood that every atom in your space should have a reason for being, should uplift, inspire, or serve. If it carries burden, sorrow, confusion, it must be released or transformed. It's now turn inward. What objects are you holding on to that no longer match your path? Is there a photo, a letter, a gift from someone who brought pain? Is there an item you keep out of guilt, obligation, or fear? Is there something hidden in your closet, tucked away in a drawer, that you've avoided dealing with? These objects don't just sit in your home, they sit in your consciousness. They occupy space in your field, and by releasing them, you open the door for grace to enter. It is said in many spiritual traditions before the divine enters, the vessel must be emptied. Empty doesn't mean bare, it means available. Available for light. Available for truth. Available for sacred energy to dwell. You are that vessel. Your home is that temple. Let's ground this in practical steps you can begin today. Walk through your home with fresh eyes, as if you're seeing it for the first time. Pause at each object. Ask yourself, does this carry light or weight? Is this a siege or a stone? If it's light, then keep it. If it's weight, honor it. Then release it, cleanse it, or move it to a neutral place. This process is not just physical, it is deeply spiritual. It teaches you the language of energy, sharpens your intuition, deepens your trust in your inner voice. And with each atom you release, something beautiful happens, more space for your true self to breathe. We'll feel it. Your meditations will deepen. Your sleep will improve. Your relationships will feel lighter. Because you've removed the interference. You've aligned your outer space with your inner truth. And in that alignment, miracles become possible. Let's pause for a moment and feel into the space we are now creating. With every object you release, with every energetic weight you set down, you are actually moving closer to clarity, not just of mind, but of spirit. This clarity is what allows your spiritual efforts to take root. Think about it. When your environment is filled with atoms that carry unresolved energy, your inner practice becomes an uphill battle. You may meditate for an hour, but the effects vanish within minutes because your surroundings keep pulling you back into lower vibrations. You may chant mantras or engage in prayer, but the spiritual frequency struggles to anchor in your field because there's too much static interference around you. You wouldn't plant seeds in polluted soil, would you? The same applies to spiritual growth. Your home is the garden. The objects within it are the soil, or energy is the seed, and to the soil, and the seed will flourish. And this is not just poetic metaphor, this is energetic law. In many traditions, it's said that your home is your first temple. If your temple is cluttered with karmic residues, then no matter how disciplined your practice is, you will hit invisible walls. But when your home becomes a sanctuary, clean, intentional, aligned, your inner peace multiplies, where prayer becomes deeper, your presence magnetic. Let me share another story that illustrates this beautifully. There was a young woman, a dedicated student of Dharma. He had recently begun chanting a sutra every evening. He was diligent, he was sincere, but after several months, he began feeling spiritually exhausted. Her heart was heavy, her sleep broken, her dreams strange and unsettling. He asked her teacher what he was doing wrong. Her teacher didn't scold her practice. He simply asked, "Tell me about your room. What's round your bed?" He hesitated. "I sleep beside my grandmother's wardrobe. Still holds her belongings from when she passed years ago. Just never had the heart to move them." The teacher nodded with deep compassion and said, "It's not wrong to love the memory of your grandmother, but if you are inviting light into your space every night, you must clear what belongs to the past. The spirit of your grandmother may have moved on, but the memory, the emotion, the unspoken grief, they remain in those clothes." With reverence and tears, the woman offered her grandmother's clothes to charity. After cleansing them and dedicating her chants to her memory, He rearranged her room, placed a small altar where the wardrobe once stood, and continued her practice. And slowly, the heaviness lifted. This wasn't magic. This was energetic alignment. When we hold on to the past, we resist the present. And when the present is blocked, the future cannot unfold. This is especially important for practitioners because the more light you cultivate, the more critical it becomes that your environment supports that light. Let's now explore the deeper layers of why certain objects cause energetic disruption. First, there's the principle of resonance. Every object emits a frequency based on the energy it was exposed to. For example, set of clothes worn during years of depression, they carry the emotional residue of that time. Gift from someone who hurt you deeply, they retain the psychic imprint of that betrayal. Inherited mirror from a house where illness or conflict prevailed may reflect more than just your image. It can reflect unresolved karma. Resonance works both ways. Blessed object, like a mala used in deep meditation, emits peace. Stone used in sacred ceremony carries protection. But the reverse is also true. Objects tied to trauma, sorrow, or spiritual confusion can disturb your peace, especially during sleep or meditation. Second, we must consider attachment. Many times, we hold on to certain items not because we love them, but because we are afraid to let them go. That fear is itself a form of bondage. Signals to the universe, I do not trust the future, so I must cling to the past. Spiritual freedom begins with letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting, it means transforming. When you release a karmically heavy object with love, you're not discarding a memory, you're liberating it. You're saying, oh, thank you for your place in my life. Now I return you to the flow of life with grace. And in that moment, your energy shifts, your home breathes, your soul expands. Third, we must talk about ritual. In ancient times, people understood the power of ritual. When a house was built, it was blessed, and someone died, their belongings were purified. When an object entered sacred space, it was cleansed. These rituals weren't superstition. They were acts of energy hygiene. You wash your hands before eating. Why not wash our space before meditating? Here's a simple cleansing ritual anyone can do. Set an intention for release and clarity. You sound a bell, a singing bowl, clapping hands in corners of rooms. You scent burn sage, sandalwood, or use essential oils like frankincense or palo santo. Use light, open windows, let in sun, or place a candle in each room for a few minutes. Use words, speak blessings aloud. Say, only love may live here, only peace may remain, loss a release. The key is sincerity. You don't need elaborate prods. Your voice, your breath, your intent, and it's enough. Now, let's integrate this teaching with your spiritual practice. And your home is energetically clear. Your meditations go deeper. Your emotional cycles become gentler. Your intuition sharpens. Your dreams become messages instead of chaos. Your physical health stabilizes. Your heart begins to feel joy, not because of outside events, but simply because it is under the net. This is not imagination. This is resonance. You have aligned your inner light with your outer world. And in that alignment, transformation becomes inevitable. And now we reach the final stretch of this journey, not as an ending, but as a gentle invitation to begin anew. With all that has been shared, seen, and felt, it's time to step back and reflect. Why does any of this matter? Because your life is sacred. Because your space is sacred. And because you, the one reading these words, seeking truth, yearning for peace, walking the delicate path of awakening, you are sacred. This isn't about becoming obsessed with objects, fearful of invisible energies, or anxious about every atom in your house. This is about consciousness. It's about reclaiming your spiritual sovereignty, moment by moment, chase by chase. Let's remember, spiritual practice isn't just what you do on a cushion or at an altar. It's how you breathe in your kitchen, how you walk through your living room, how you sleep in your bed. If your space is heavy, confused, or cluttered with unaccumulated memory, your soul will feel it, and eventually that heaviness will speak in fatigue, in doubt, in restlessness, in the quiet disconnection from your own practice. But the opposite is also true. When you honor your home begins to hold you. When you cleanse your space begins to cleanse you. When you fill your rooms with intention, light, and sacred vibration, your life becomes a prayer in motion. And this is what true spiritual living means. It's not about performing rituals. It's about becoming one. One with your breath. One with your energy. One with your environment. One with your path. So let me ask you gently and with love, what is in your space right now that is asking to be seen? What object are you holding on to that carries the past in ways that no longer serve the present? What unseen weight could you release, not in fear, but in faith? Because when you begin to release even just one item at a time, something magical begins to happen. It's not dramatic, it's not flashy, but it is profound. You begin to feel lighter, more present, more clear, more awake. And with each step of lightening, you draw closer to the truth of your own being. Let me share one last story, because stories, like symbols, speak directly to the soul. The elderly monk was once visited by a younger seeker, full of questions, concerns, and confusion. The young man said, "Master, I meditate daily. I chant with sincerity, but I still feel clouded, still feel like something is blocking me." The monk smiled, led him into his modest hut, and pointed to a simple cushion on the floor. "Sit here." The young man sat, and the monk gave him a heavy sack and said, "Hold this on your lap while you meditate." The young man obeyed. He closed his eyes, began his chant, but quickly felt distracted and irritated. After a few minutes, he opened his eyes. "Master, this sack is too heavy. Can't focus." The monk nodded. "Yes, I imagine that sack is filled with the objects, memories, and unresolved energies in your home and heart. You carry them whether you're aware of them or not. They sit on your lap during meditation. They rest beside your bed at night. They walk behind you every day." The young man was silent. The monk leaned in and whispered, "Now can you imagine what would happen if you put it down?" And that is the truth I'll leave with you now. What might open within you if you simply put it down? What joy might rush in? What clarity might rise? What energy might return to your body, your spirit, your home? You are not meant to carry everything. You are meant to be free. So, walk through your home not as a collector, not as a prisoner, but as a conscious soul reclaiming space. Say goodbye to what no longer holds light. Say thank you to what taught you lessons. Say yes to what supports your path forward. And above all, trust that your intuition knows. Trust that you don't need more, you need less. As weight, as nice, as attachment, or stillness, or clarity, or room for grace. And if you've ever felt like something unseen was holding you back, now you know. May not be your fault, but it is within your power to change it. You have the tools. You have the awareness. You have the light. So go now and tend your sacred space. Let your home become the extension of your practice. Let it breathe with you. Let it support you. Let it remind you that everything, absolutely everything, is energy. And energy, when honored, becomes blessing. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I want to hear from you, truly. Have you ever felt the weight of an object in your space, even if you couldn't explain it? Have you gone through the process of cleansing, purifying, or releasing something that sifted your entire energy? Tell me your story in the comments. Share your wisdom with this beautiful community. You never know who might read your words and feel seen, understood, inspired. If you found this video insightful, uplifting, or helpful in any way, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell for more deep spiritual content. Your support allows us to keep sharing these truths with the world. And if you'd like to go even deeper with exclusive teachings, guided meditations, and behind-the-scenes reflections, consider becoming a channel member. Until next time, may your home be light, your heart be clear, and may your path be blessed.